Gelakasla, Danse. Welcome in both my native languages of Kwakwakiwak from northern Vancouver Island and Cree from central Canada. My name is Tom Sewid, and I understand you're looking for an Aboriginal host for a North American Indian leaning series on Sasquatch Bigfoot. Well, I've been studying Sasquatch Bigfoot since I was a child. I lived in the bush for over 30 years, and I mean I lived in bush. I was a bushman for 30 plus years in the Broughton Archipelago and coastal British Columbia, as well as trapping in the coastal mountains in the interior of our province. And throughout my entire life, I've heard about these creatures that are out there. Later on in my life, I would have 3 really good encounters with the creatures. But to the native people throughout North America, we hear stories about them shape-shifting and being from a spiritual realm. We also hear them being maybe a primate or a relic humanoid, which makes them part of the animal kingdom, like this wolf here and the other animals that we know in the animal kingdom. And then, of course, we hear the stories about the spiritual realm of them. My First Nations, we speak of the Bakwis, the wild man of the woods, it's been known, but it's also a small little hair-covered bipedal creature that comes out in low tide onto the beaches with its hand in front of its face, searching in the sands at low tide for cockles, a type of clamshell, a type of clam, a shellfish, a bivalve, its favorite food. And there's so many stories about the Bakwis that I could share with you. And then we hear the stories about the large hair-covered bipedal creature of Vancouver Island and coastal British Columbia, known as Chunahua, the wild woman of the woods. And there's even a male one that we have with a mustache that you see in rare occasions during the great ceremony of potlatch. But throughout coastal British Columbia, the other people, such as the Haidas from Queen Charlotte Islands, known as Haidagwai, they speak of Gogit, the large hair-covered creature they share their homelands with. And then, of course, there's a smaller one that I can't remember the name. Southern Vancouver Island, the mainland around Vancouver, and down into Washington State, into the Puget Sound, is the Coast Salish peoples. They speak of the Hawkwis, a large hair-covered creature. They also speak of Steamtum, a small one. So throughout Turtle Island, North America, and I've journeyed as far away and lived in the Northwest Territories where they speak of Naga, the big hair-covered creature. And then in northern British Columbia, there's talk of the books from the other tribes. And when you even talk to Inuit from up in the Arctic, they speak of a hair-covered creature they share their homelands with, as well as a small one. And now if we look into the United States, we hear the stories of skunk ape, mountain devils, and the list goes on of names of Bigfoot type creatures. But we also hear about the little people. So all the shows that are out there right now, they're generic. They're like a can of beans on a shelf in a grocery store. Different label, different sauces, but it's still just a can of beans. Well, that's what Sasquatch Bigfoot shows and researching is turned into in the last decade or more. Very generic. So we need to go to the original inhabitants of Turtle Island, the North American Indian. We need to hear their stories, their legends. We need to hear the songs come to life and be translated to English so the viewers know what these tribes are speaking about with these hair-covered creatures we have shared our homelands with since the dawn of our creations. So whether it's called Sasquatch or Bigfoot or skunk ape, or if you find tracks out in the forest, the deserts, the coastal rainforest, even in the tundra in the Arctic, we know that there's a creature out there. Whether it's spiritual, whether it's natural, we don't even know. We can't even decide right now whether we should call it a primate or a relic humanid. So if you're looking for a host that's going to be able to convey the different Aboriginal perspectives to these creatures, then you're going to need someone like me that has been working in eco-cultural tourism as a narrator to hundreds of thousands of people, and who understands the diversity with the native tribes, but also the complexity of our stories about something from a spiritual realm, like Kulus over here, which is my family crest, and the natural animals like this wolf. And who knows, maybe this Sasquatch Bigfoot is a natural animal, maybe it is a spiritual one. We don't know, but you're going to want to come on a journey with a host that is First Nations, North American Indian, and Tom Sewid's your guy. because not only do I know the First Nations perspective, and I've been tracking and recording thousands of reports from people in the modern day, and even stuff written down in the archives from the ancient times when just after contact, but I also have listened to the people, and I listen to their legends and stories. And being a native dancer and a legend speaker, you're going to need the host like me that has a lot of years, decades of experience doing exactly what you need for your television series. I thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from you. And in our language, halakilasla. Go in peace.